Okay, today we're going to learn how to upgrade the BigTreeTech TFT24 version 1.1. So, as you know, you're going to probably need to update your firmware. So, as you know, there's a USB, or excuse me, a SD card reader underneath here. So I'm going to show you how to actually update your firmware. So I'm going to connect the powers just so we can look at it for a moment. So right now it's on LCD simulator. So we're going to change it to the touchscreen by holding this down and turning the dial to the serial touchscreen. And as you can see, now that we click settings and info, our current version is version 1.1.22. So I know we're up to 1.1.25. So let's see if we can get it up to that. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take the SD card and we're going to have to put this in our computer. So you may hear a beep when it's connected. Okay, now that it's connected, you can see that there's nothing on my drive. Now it is formatted, so if you need to format it, you're going to have to right click and go to format, and then you want it to be FAT32 in quick format, and then you click start. But seeing how it's already done, we're going to skip that step and move directly to the firmware. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the browser and type in TFT24, and then we'll say BigTreeTech in GitHub and see what we find. So what we have here is a couple of links. So let's try the very first one. And this looks like it's one of BigTreeTech's download sections, but we're going to go over to BigTreeTech for a second, and then we're going to go over to touchscreen firmware, and this apparently is for the TFT 24, 28, and 35. So we're going to download this or clone it. So that's going to take a few moments to download. We can actually look around and see what it says here. It says copy to SD drive. That seems important. So let's go over to our download folder and see what's going on. So we'll do show in folder, right click, and we'll do extract all and then extract. Now this may take a moment to actually unzip, but it should have what we're looking for inside it, being the new firmware version. So let's see what we get here. It's almost done. Maybe we can peek in while that's going on. So inside here it says all the things. So it says that we can copy to the SD card root directory to update. And then it also has a different one for unified menu. But we're going to do this one. So we're going to do send to, and we'll send it to our SD card. Now, what's contained in this folder apparently is everything. So we're going to probably have to parse it down a little. So let's see what we get on our actual drive here. So what we're working with is actually the BigTreeTech TFT24 version 1.1.25 that we want. So the rest of these are of no value to us because our screen is not one of those. So we're going to hit delete to remove these. So we're good there. And then we're not using this or this. So we're going to get rid of these. And then the archive at the moment we don't care about, but it has your old firmware versions in here from the previous release. So we're going to delete that as well. And so that's what we need. So let's check to see if it's on the root of the drive. Now it appears not to be. So we're going to open this up. We're going to do a Control X to copy, go back to the root and paste it. Then we'll get rid of this directory. And it looks like we're good to go. So the next step is to actually plug it in on our board for our TFT 24 and see what happens. So I'm going to power down the board and I'm going to remove the SD card. And as you can see, I have the board flipped over here. So I'm going to insert the SD card into the board. I'm going to flip it over so you can watch what happens. And then I'm going to power it back up. So let me set this up so you can see better. And now I'm going to apply power as the other end of the USB serial cable is connected. And you can watch the update. So as you can see, it's copying over the firmware. This may take a moment. Now it's probably copying over all the other things in the directories. So this may take a second. Then it probably will move on to not fonts, but maybe bitmaps. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've done this. But as it's counting away, you can see that it's not really that long. We've only been doing this about, half a minute, maybe a minute. And so the next thing that will occur is it'll copy something else over. So now it's updating, copying over the actual bitmaps. Now it may ask you to touch the screen in 4 corners in the center in order to calibrate. This may take a couple of tries because I've obviously had trouble with it myself, and I'm assuming others will. But it's reasonably easy to set up and flash the firmware. So it looks like we've got a lot of little fonts here to worry about. But here we go. It's asking me to touch the corners. So I'm going to touch here, then here, then here, then here. Now it's going to ask me to do it again. And again. And again. And let's try the other hand. So as you can see, this is rather fun to do. It took, 6, 7 tries? But now we're up to date. So let's go check the settings to make sure it worked. So we're going to go to Info. And now it says version 1.1.25. So remember to remove the SD card so it doesn't try and reload again. And then what we'll do next is I'll show you how to actually attach it to the SKR version 1.4 as a TFT. And one last thing, just to let you know, no one's paying me or sponsoring me to do this tutorial, and I purchased the equipment with my own money, but I will be placing Amazon affiliate links in the description. So thank you for your time.